Hello and welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you visiting. Today what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to draw the head and the face. Now this is not going to be an in-depth tutorial. I'll probably save that for later. But the message I want to convey here is that there is many ways to draw a head. So you've heard there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Well, in this case, I'm just going to give you the basic fundamentals. And so the way I look at this is those fundamentals are like shooting free throws or doing layups in basketball. You build off of those things. So even though those fundamentals remain the same, myself and artists I've known throughout my lifetime tend to generate their anatomy, this type of thing, with different methodology. So the impetus is on you guys just to go out there and look at different videos, different methods, and find out which ones work for you. I've picked the ones that have worked for me in my career that I like, and there's a million of them out there. So hopefully I'll give you something here that you can use and take with you to help you along your journey of becoming an artist. And if you like the video, feel free to subscribe and like the video. I'd appreciate it. And let's get into it. What I like to do is I generally like to start out with a square shape, in this case a rectangle, and I've put halfway down that rectangle, I've put a indication where the eyes may go, and then halfway between the eyes and the chin is going to be where the nose goes, and about a third of the way down is you're going to have the middle of your mouth, a line there, and then your bottom lip. Now again, these are guidelines, they're not rules. A lot of times the chin may dip down lower. There's a little adjustments, but this is just kind of the basics with these. So if you look to see what I'm doing here, the ears generally will fall into in between the eye level and the bottom of the nose, and that's the height of your ears, and that's how you're going to place those. And then as you look at the eyes, the center of the eyes, if you draw a straight line down, that's where the corners of your mouth will come. And so and then as I start to just place hair in here real quick, it's always best to draw hair as a shape as opposed to individual hairs, and that way you can just you block it out and get a sense of if you're designing the hair the way that you want it to. And so I put a few notes in here, but we're going to go through a couple of other things to see how just some variety here to see how we can generate different heads. So here we're going to do a profile. And you can again see that I put that halfway mark, but in this case the chin actually goes below the box, and that's generally what the case is going to be. Okay, and it's always interesting when you're around town or you're at work or whatever you're doing, take the time to notice people around you and look how different the shapes of their heads are, how far their ears are away from their eyes, the length of their nose, just all the different things and you'll actually find that people look radically different. And I don't mean just in their face, but just the shape of their skull. Okay, so this real quick drawing I'm doing, you can see I just put a diagonal right where her jawline was going to be. So this is a woman, and I've made the features a lot softer so she looks like a woman, a little bit more sleek. Generally I'd make the neck quite a bit thinner, but again, we're not going for a finished drawing here. We're just trying to do these really quick. And I'll do some variety here on the hair just to kind of show you just a few different things here. But I want you to pay attention to just the diagonal line that goes under her jaw. A lot of times I like to make heads with an actual flat bottom with that diagonal, and then I just kind of make a dome like a, I'm trying to think, almost like something you'd cover a cake with, but kind of oblong. When you're drawing women, it's always, one of the things that you should pay attention to is with women, you don't want to show typically, or usually, you don't want to show like clavicles, you don't want to show the sternocleidomastoid muscle, the neck muscles. You don't want to show a lot of lines because those will add age to that character. And so if it's a young character, you want to keep the lines smooth. And then as the character gets older, if any of you guys have ever, if you own How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, I think John Buscema has some pretty good indications in there of what to do to age those characters and to create variations of those characters. So here I am, I've just drawn two different shapes. You can see the one's kind of an inverted triangle, and we'll get to that here in a minute. And then this other one, I'm just throwing in these proportions really quick like we did before with the first head on the first sheet. One other quick note is you can see the inside corners of the eyes. I have them off just a little bit here, but again, I'm not worried about fixing any of this stuff. It's just kind of just initial placement. But the insides of your eyes, where your tear ducts are, if you draw a straight line down from the insides of your eyes, that's going to hit the edges of your nostrils. So again, inside of your eyes goes to the edge of your nostrils, and of course, the center of your eye, the pupil, goes down to the corners of your mouth. And those are the guidelines for those proportions. Now right here, I'm just going through a few different anatomical methods that I use sometimes. So if you look at the lips, I started drawing just oblong kind of tablet looking shapes. They're kind of round. And I'll do this a little bit later here, but drawing the full shapes and then carving away at them is sometimes a great way to develop the head. Okay, and don't be afraid of messing up, or if things look crappy, or if this eye is too high or this eye is too low. Just practice it. What you want to do here is just be real loose and kind of just play around and see if you can kind of just get the feel of the general placement of the features of the face. So here again, yeah, as you look at the eyes, one other metric is between the eyes should be about the size of another eye. So it's three eyes wide. Okay, let's clear this. Okay. Yeah, it's enough. I'll write this down right here. So once you know the rules, you can break them. So once you've got these down, you can just start drawing all sorts of shapes. I don't care what they are. And just see what you can come up with here. And we'll just rip these out really fast. So if you take a quick look at these, you can see the proportions are a little bit different. This guy's got a stubby nose. Now we've got a really skinny guy. I've made his nose twice as long. And this is really where the fun comes in, where you can really start playing with these characters and seeing what you can come up with. Here's just a quick goofy character like a little baby. Here's more of a juvenile, not a juvenile, but someone like 5 or 6 years old. Got the big head, so. And let's try a couple more here. So this is a, I've seen this technique used by some people. I don't use it all the time, or rarely, but there's a technique where you just kind of look at the face as like a sheet of paper. You're not drawing the whole head, but the purpose of this is to get the artist to understand, or at least the beginning artist to understand, that the face is curved. It's not a flat piece of paper. So I put an X on here so I can find the middle of that piece of paper. So if I put it in perspective, that's where the stuff lands. But this is flat. This is how most people draw them. That's not how you would do it. So we're going to curve it, and then we're going to put those features back on, and you can see how that works out. So this is the last one here. I'm going to do a couple here, and again, I can't emphasize enough that you don't worry about being perfect. You know, people are worried about getting an oval, whatever it is. Just keep going. So here, this is kind of what I call kind of a form method, and I just use it by drawing circles and what might be globs of clay, so to speak. So I've got a round one for the forehead, his brows, his cheekbone, his nose, nostrils, lips, chin, and you can just carry this as far as you like. Now, this doesn't look anatomically correct, but I've exaggerated it a little bit just so you can see those masses and how you can build off of it. And then the next method I'll do, I'll show you, is the one that I actually enjoy the most. So if you're I do a lot of stuff traditionally, and I tend to like markers and pen. But when I do things digitally, and I think that's probably what most people are doing right now is digitally, is just to, this is just such a fast way to do things, because the human mind tends to see form and put things together much faster than line. Just like looking at a cloud, you can see a face or an animal or something like that. So this one, I've done the same thing that I did to the left, kind of, but instead of just all circles, I've just put globs of value. One for the nose, one for the sockets of the eyes, a little bit in the lips, and you can go as far as you like with this. And then I start cutting into it with a gray brush, gray color, and then I'll get darker as we go along. So you can see just how fast these get. We do these really, and this is one of my favorite things to do, is just to draw heads, profile, 3/4, straight on, and maybe we'll tackle the 3/4 view in another video. So what I would say here is I would just challenge you guys, take some of the subjects or the positions that you've struggled with in drawing and try using just some value to delineate where those forms are. So a big one is like the nose. People have a real hard time starting out learning how to draw a nose from straight on. Just put a darker value in there, because that nose is going to be darker than the rest of the face, and then build from there. And you can just see how your brain, generally speaking, will pull that out and give you better results. At least I hope so. And I'll just add a few more things here just real quick, and we'll wrap that up. I appreciate you guys joining me. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you.